Hello, welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering the field training exercise at the One Shepherd Fall 2020 semester in West Virginia. The old saying goes that if it ain't raining, you ain't training. Well, we must have been training pretty goddamn hard at this FTX. Matter of fact, at this whole semester. All through the first day of the WBC, we dealt with rain. We dealt with it a little bit on the Sunday. The sticks was good weather, but when the FTX came, the bad weather came with it. And it started right out raining, and we got a little bit of snow, and it just went from there. Oh yeah, did I mention it was cold as well? At one point it was even down below freezing. So how did it start out? Well, it started out with a delay. Normally in a One Shepherd FTX, on Wednesday night you get the Road to War. And that allows you, the two teams, to start preparing, get the gear they need, and so when dawn comes on Thursday, they can make their plan to go forth and do their assigned missions. Well, we had been informed by the training area that another entity was using one of the very ranges we would be using that were central to the training scenario that had been set up, so that caused a delay. So basically what we did is we allowed Wednesday night to continue into free time, and then Thursday morning the Road to War was given, the teams were assigned, and each of the teams were allowed to do their planning as necessary to get up to speed or prepare for their missions. One of the things that was done, LSWs were issued. LSWs are the One Shepherd stand-in for a squad automatic weapon, and basically they give you an increased rate of fire through the use of a binary trigger. So some quick classes were given to the people assigned to those weapon systems, and while that was going on, the patrol leaders were doing their planning for their missions, and the assistant patrol leaders were going to supply to draw the items that they need, such as pyro, comm gear, ammo, and whatnot.
You can play with it.
The Blue Four was the first to step off. Their mission was to go over to a place called Gilgamesh Island, set up a radar site with command vehicle. They also had a special piece of equipment that if it got destroyed by the Taji Sword guerrillas, i.e. the OPFOR, that their mission was blown. Two vehicles, the command vehicle and the radar vehicle, were set up a distance apart and connected by field phone communications, so the two vehicles could talk together and work together as would real missile detection systems and their control centers. From there, the Blue Force then conducted patrols and static security of these assets, while the mission of the OPFOR was to infiltrate the island and raid one, if not possibly both sites. The OPFOR mission was to raid the island and destroy the Blue Four assets, preferably both of them, but if not, one would suffice. After the Blue Four was deployed onto Gilgamesh Island, the Blue Four was brought in quote-unquote a fishing boat, and they set up their patrol base under a fishing pier. From there, they launched patrols all over Gilgamesh Island in an attempt to locate the Blue Force assets. Alright, so the FTX has started. This FTX, I'm acting as one of the OCs, and this first night of the FTX, I am back in the white cell monitoring what both units are doing. So far, what's happened is we had a delay in the start due to the facility having some training overlap, so we had to wait for another client to finish up what they were doing, so we got a very late start. Didn't insert the Blue Force into their island until 1600. At that time, I came back to the white cell. We picked up the OPFOR. We inserted the OPFOR at 1730 under a fishing pier on the island, and they proceeded then to start their operations against the Blue Four. Time on deck now is 1900, I believe. Yes, 1900. And we've started to get our first calls from the Blue 4. They're having some radio troubles, and also they reported a contact with the enemy. They seem to have repelled them, but they took 1 KIA in the process. So as events go on through the night, I'll keep updating reports, and we'll continue to monitor the action. Okay, so it's 2100. And the updates that we have is monitoring the OPFOR net. They seem to have found the Blue 4's assets. So there's a command vehicle and a radar vehicle. Radio reports seem to indicate they have found both vehicles. The Blue 4 is still having some radio troubles, but has reported nothing else at this time. All right, it's 2120. Here on the first night of the FTX, and things are getting more interesting because it's snowing outside now. So that's going to be making it interesting for the teams out in the FTX. Now, don't get too worried about that. It's been drizzling all day, the temperatures are dropping, and while technically it is snow, it's melting the second it hits the ground. It's not like the ground's going to be all covered in white stuff come morning and stuff, but it technically is snow, and that makes for a challenge for those guys out in the field.
Alright, so Blue 4 just called in about 2105. They said they engaged enemy near the van and had they killed 3 enemy KIA. So looks like Blue 4 is doing pretty good. However, OPFOR, we also picked up traffic about OPFOR locating the Humvee. So that's where the generator is, which is OPFOR's objective. So should be pretty interesting to see what's going down here in the next few hours, I guess.
Yeah, well, looks like things are developing quickly out there.
Yeah, so looks like it's rolling pretty good.
All right, it's midnight here on the first night of the FTX. Getting ready to do a little shift change here with my buddy Brent. We've had a couple radio checks from the Blue 4. We've heard nothing on the OPFOR net, and we assume both sides out there are doing their planning and getting ready for their next move.
All right, we as the OCs are getting ready to move out. It's a little bit after 06. We've had a pretty uneventful night, although the last radio call we got said that the Blue 4 had heard some whistle blasts, although they do not know if they were enemy or civilian. Right now, we are getting ready to do the extraction of the OPFOR and the movement of the Blue 4 to new locations, and Brent is encoding a message to tell the Blue 4 that radios will be unmanned for a period of time.
Echo 3-4, Echo 3-4, this is Zulu 4-3, over. Echo 3-4, Zulu 4-3, stand by to copy, over. Comes in static. Stand by to copy, over. Rose, India, Juliet, Dash, Echo, Golf, break. Delta, Dash, Uniform, Golf, Oscar, Foxtrot, Uniform, break. Dash, Romeo, Golf, Victor, Foxtrot, Dash, 4, break. Dash, Zulu, Quebec, Oscar, Foxtrot, Zulu, Dash, break. Zulu, Oscar, Sierra, Sierra, Dash. 08. How copy? Correction. Rose, India, Juliet, dash, break. Echo, Golf, Delta, dash. How copy? Roger, that's a good copy. Zulu 4-3 out. Alright, so we're on day 2. It's early morning, 06. Les and I are about to punch out. He's going to take over as the OC for the OPFOR. I'm going to take over as the OC as Blue 4. The difference is, though, is Les is going to be OCing for OPFOR, but he's not going to be actually in the scenario. Whereas, because Blue 4 is down a man, I'm actually going to join them as a partisan, and I'm going to be a medic. So I'll have the God gun, but I'm not going to take any leadership roles. Essentially just going to be a medic with a rifle, and still exercising the OC duties and responsibilities. However, I will be an active participant on the Blue 4 side.
Brent and I went out. The first thing we did was I dropped Brent off at the insertion point for the Blue 4. He was pretending to be a partisan, and he set up a VSC-17 panel to simulate that Blue 4 coming in by helicopter. I then went and recovered the OPFOR, and the OPFOR was taken to their area of operation where they would be manning the missile battery. At the time, the missile battery was not there. They were just told to secure the location so the missile battery could move in. I then went back, retrieved the Blue 4, had them follow me in the Humvee to this area where we deployed them so they could link up with their partisan. While the Blue 4 was linking up with their partisan and being led back to a secure safe house, the OPFOR had secured the area where their missile battery was to be set up. When the vehicle arrived, they placed the missile launcher, which was simulated by a Humvee in this case, in a position where it was in an open area where missiles could engage enemy aircraft in all aspects. The command vehicle was then placed along a tree line, and due to the bright white color of the van substituting as a missile command vehicle, it was camouflaged with camouflage netting, and decoy positions were set up. All right, here's the camouflage command vehicle and its decoy. Basically, the SAM launcher was set in a little field that had a little bit of tree cover on all sides. So from the ground, it was obscured pretty well. From the air, it had a pretty good view of what it had to engage. And the command vehicle was tucked up against a tree line and camouflaged on the opposite side of the vehicle. That way, most avenues of approach were covered by some fire by the OPFOR. To get everybody up to speed, this morning after our last update, We removed the OPFOR, the Taji sword, from the island of Gilgamesh. We brought them back to their own territory, and they took over defense of this anti-aircraft missile battery. And now they're got most of their people down on rest, minimal security. And we're going to see what happens throughout the day, whether SLDF decides to launch an attack against this missile site or take it out by some other means. A member of the OPFOR pulling security from the command vehicle thought they saw in a distant tree line 300 to 400 meters away a member of the Blue 4 and alerted the patrol leader. It turned out in real life, after the exercise was over, we found out the Blue 4 did not have a patrol out, but he thought he saw somebody. The patrol leader reacted to it and sent out a patrol. That patrol ran into the Blue 4 next to their safe house, and they engaged in a firefight and lost a man. They came back knowing the enemy was out there. They decided to be aggressive and go mount an ambush far down the tree line from the missile battery, but as close to the Blue 4 as they felt they could get, because they were assuming that the Blue 4 was going to be coming
Set in
after
there for
them.
an ambush. They're going to try to come in here and try to fuck with us. You guys got to get going now.
Okay.
Because they're moving up.
All right.
They're probably starting to. They probably came out, tried to whack us a little bit and chase us off their PB. And dude, you were probably 10 seconds from jumping in the woods.
I was.
And we got lit up with an LSW.
Yeah, it was just Warfel in front of me. He
Yeah.
was in the woods, and then I was a step behind
Yeah,
him.
and I was like, come on, shh, come on. All right, go make it happen.
All right, so it's
you
myself,
guys got to go on a
Cox,
two-man
and
patrol
Young Jay?
because I need those two and we need two here.
So wait, is Young Jay and Cox and I'll stay, or do you want me to go?
Where's Dave? We got Dave, right?
Cox is right next to you.
Okay, I got old Dave, right? Okay, so you three go on that ambush. Okay,
Okay.
I got Dave and me, and we got
Alpha team.
an Alpha
Right.
1, right? Okay,
Yeah, if you happen to see a
go
radio
fuck them up,
antenna,
dudes.
Okay, you got it.
pick it up.
Hit it and get out of there. You got it?
Yep.
Don't run back to here though.
Yeah.
Run over there and come back around.
Yeah, we can hit northern LOA and then circle around.
Dude, I'm wet now, dude. I trucked all the way back almost. All right. Good shit. All right, well, we're here. We're going to start. I'm going to work on a defensive plan.
Okay.
All right, make sure you got a good mag in there. Fresh mag. Me? I slept for like an hour maybe. I did a tactical reload
Nice. We both need
with
to get
maybe 6 in there.
Okay. I'm good for this.
I'm not worried about sleep. I'll sleep when I get home.
While the one patrol went out to set up an ambush, the crew of the missile launch vehicle set in a prepared defense since they believed they were on the line of enemy likely approach. Shortly after the ambush patrol went out and the defense was being prepared, higher headquarters put in a call to the unit because knowing that they had contact with a Blue Force unit in their home territory, they knew obviously that the missile vehicle, a high value asset, was the Blue Force's target, and they immediately directed the OPFOR to move to a new location. That new location was going from the tip of the northern operating area down to the very southern point they could get the vehicles in the operating area. The OPFOR moved quickly, packed up their vehicles, removed the camo nettings, loaded up, got their patrol recalled, and got out of the area and was able to steal a march on the Blue 4. Okay, so here's the situation. Finally, at 1400, the PL here finally called in his contact and his discovery of the Blue 4 patrol base deep in his territory. His higher command, realizing that he had enemy forces here, knew what their objective was, did not want to lose this high value asset. So it originally was far to the north of their operational area. They very quickly broke camp, packed everything up, and moved the SAM site down to the southern portion of their AO, the complete opposite end. And hopefully they've stolen a movement on their opponent, and their opponent may or may not have known where they were previously, but now their mission of reconnaissance just got significantly more difficult. Well, the OPFOR got out of Dodge in time. The Blue 4 did come to raid them up in their northern operating area, and when they got there, there was no missile vehicle or command vehicle to be found. Their redeployment to the south did work. The Blue 4 was then forced to spend the rest of their time patrolling the area to find the to find the OPFOR. They did eventually find the OPFOR late in the night or early in the morning, depending on your point of view that you want to go with. At 0400, they hit. They had a support to the due south of the position, and the raiding force came in from the east. And they hit the missile vehicle first. There was a protracted firefight, and I'll apologize right now, I don't have any thermal video of it. And from there, once taking out, they moved across the field, not ever seeing the command vehicle, but knowing that there were some enemy personnel over in the woods. They moved on to them to actually move through them to get to their extraction point on the western side of the field. As they came across the field, just as they were about on the command vehicle, maybe at 25 yards, the remaining OPFOR members opened up. Unfortunately, fortune was not with them, and the OPFOR got no hits, but the Blue 4's hits at night were accurate. They took out the OPFOR, got there, didn't realize the command vehicle was there because the camouflaging was so good, but when they found it, they destroyed that, so they got both vehicles, and then they moved off into the night. A few moments later, as the OPFOR was collected, four members were respawned as a reactionary force. They were sent in pursuit of the Blue 4, but by then the Blue 4 had managed to put enough distance between them and the raid site that the reaction force never found them. At dawn, the OPFOR got word from headquarters, higher headquarters, that they expected an enemy extraction in the vicinity and to set up an ambush. The likely landing spot was the field right where the missile launcher had been, so a large L-shaped ambush was formed by the OPFOR with the command element and one team on one side of it and the APL and another team on the long end of it. Unfortunately, the actual landing zone for the Blue 4 was behind a small clump of trees on the far side of the field. So they were not in a place where they could nail the Blue 4 as they attempted to extract. So fortune did not favor the OPFOR in that either, but had the enemy had to extract in that field, not only would they have been wiped out, so would the helicopter. The ambush was set in that good. After the extraction of the Blue 4, Index was called. Both patrols moved back to the FOB. Everybody congratulated each other on an excellent FTX, and weapons maintenance, gear maintenance was done, and then it was time for a warrior's dinner of steak and beer. And a big shout out to my buddy Brent, who at the completion of this FTX earned his black hat in the One Shepherd community. We hope you found this edition of Pegasus Test helpful and informative. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in for future coverage of One Shepherd semesters.